Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching this video from. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm shooting this video from a small town called Ahero in Kisumu County, Kenya. So I want to walk you through my small kitchen garden here. When we talk about food security, we don't talk about big things. So that means you don't have to start with an acre or hectares of land. You can start with that small space that you have in your backyard whenever you have a small space. So I will just show you what is happening here in this small farm, and let's go. So if you look around, you can see some kind of rugs. I think you might be wondering, what are these rugs for? Yeah, so this is just a testament that you can use any available materials to secure your small farm. Like here you can see this is an old sheet or bed sheet. There is another old bed sheet here that has been used to make a makeshift gate. And yeah, you don't need fancy materials or fancy tools or things to set up your farm. So with that, it has been helpful because chickens and even animals are not able to gain access to this farm and destroy the crops that are here. Then something else that you'll notice in this farm is that, yeah, even though it is very small, but we have been able to combine a lot of different crops in here, a lot of different vegetables in one place. So let's start here. As you can see, we have some, this is pepper. Yeah, if you can see, it has produced some fruits. Yeah, and already some of them we are already using, as you can see here. Some have been plucked. So yeah, it's a small plant but producing a lot of pepper. We have a pineapple here. I hope you can see it. We have some beans. Yeah, so it's one farm that contains all kinds of crops that we can think of. That is sugarcane. That is sugarcane, and I can show you another group of sugarcanes here. Yeah, so these ones, in a few months they will be ready for eating, as you can see there. And then here we have some vegetables. We have kales. We have another vegetable here, not sure about the name, but it is in the family of kales here. If you know the name of this vegetable, you can just tell me in the comment section. So what we did here, we planted these kales in sacks, and I want to show you why it is a good idea to plant the kales in sacks, especially if you are doing small scale. You will see the difference between these kales that have been planted in sacks and the ones that have been planted on the ground. So if you look here, yeah, this one is also doing well, but these kales have been here for so many months. They have taken a long period of time to grow, and as compared to the ones planted in the sacks, the ones planted in the sacks were able to mature very fast, and we have been able to harvest them we have been able to eat them several times, as compared to these ones that are planted on the ground. Then we have some indigenous vegetables here. As you can see, they are in their flowering stage. That means they are getting older. Yeah, even for these ones we have been able to harvest for several times, and they have been able to feed us very well. Even for this one, in our local language we call them mito. Not sure about the English name. And then we have another one here. This is also in the kales family, and as you can see, this one is also producing seeds. So what happens to these seeds is that if you don't harvest them before they dry completely, they will disperse in the land, and then when it's raining you will see them growing again on the farm. Yeah, then here we have some more of the indigenous vegetables that I was showing you on the other side. These are also indigenous vegetables, the kales family. We have this one is called kunde, and I didn't tell you the local name for this. The local name for this is, many people call it sarat. Not sure where the name came from. We have some more sugarcane here. They are really growing well, and the good thing about sugarcane is they just need a little water. They need a little water, and like right now when it's raining, that means they are able to keep or store the water. And because this region is normally very dry, during the dry season that water will still keep them going for some times before they get more water. Then we have maize here. It is a rainy season in this region, and many people are planting, and the crops that are normally planted here are normally maize, sorghum, beans, green grams, and some vegetables. Yeah, so in this small farm we also decided to plant some maize. Yeah, these ones are just enough for maybe roasting a few times when they are ready. You can see another technique that is used here. Instead of planting these vegetables directly on the soil or on the land, we got some old tires, and then they were cut, and then added some soil mixed with manure, and you can see how these vegetables are doing. You can see the difference. If I show you the ones planted on the soil, they are not this big or healthy. Then yeah, we have more here. These are still indigenous vegetables, traditional vegetables. We have more here. We have more. So for this one, we planted these seeds, although we have another species of this vegetable that grows here as weed. So like now, because it's a rainy season, you'll find there are a lot of these vegetables that have grown naturally, but they are a bit different from this one. So they are not like shiny. This one has a shiny leaf, and the other one is normally a bit dark. Yeah, if I get that one, I will show you. Yeah, here, although this is a bit unkempt, weeding has not been done here. There's a mix of vegetables and some weeds there. Okay, here we have more on the sacks. These are older than the ones I was showing you earlier. These ones are older. Yeah, so these ones we have been able to harvest these several times as compared to the other ones which were just planted a few months ago or weeks. Yeah, so you can see they're still healthy, they're still producing, we're still feeding from them. And then I want to show you another technique that we have been using here to irrigate this. This is a kind of drip irrigation, and just like I told you, any locally available materials can be used. So here we have a bottle. This is a soda bottle, and then we cut it, then made a hole here. So what happens during the dry season, instead of watering the plants every time, we just make the hole and then start dripping water continuously to the vegetables, and the vegetables can be sustained even during the dry season, during the dry weather. Yes, so it's just about creativity, and that is where food security starts from. It doesn't have to be something big, just need to have a bit of creativity, and then you will be able to save a lot even from the cost of buying vegetables. Yeah, so you can see this line, yeah, with this simple irrigation setup that we put over here. And then I know you might be asking yourself, what are these nets for? I will explain to you in a bit. Yeah, this is an old metal box. We just added some soil into it, and then it became a farm. And you can see how the vegetable is thriving in here. Yeah, you can see these are more vegetables here. Yes, and it goes up to that end. So this is just a confirmation that you don't need large parcels. These tires, the ones that I've used here, the old tires, the bottles, the old sacks, you can get these ones from anywhere, and that small space that you have in your home, they can be helpful in terms of producing vegetables that will sustain your family, even if not for commercial purposes. Yeah, now you can see the difference. These scales that are here were planted at the same time with the ones that I've just shown you on the sacks and on the old tires. But if you are keen, you can see that these ones are still very young, they are not healthy, and they are taking a long time to mature. So that means if you want your vegetables to mature faster, you need to plant them maybe on containers or on some old sacks, and then the soil that you put in that sack should be mixed with some manure, compost manure. So for us, what we do, because we keep some goats and sheep, we normally get manure from the waste that we get from the goats and sheep. Yeah, here we also have, you can see this sunflower. I think some sunflower were planted in this place. And then these are some seeds that were dispersed here. And during the rainy season, started growing, and that is how it looks, and it's very healthy. meaning that even sunflower can do well here. So for the nets, the main reason why we put these old rugged mosquito nets here is to prevent direct sunlight from hitting our vegetables, because I've told you this region is normally very, very hot, and we are coming from a dry season. We just started experiencing rainy season a few weeks ago, but before that it was very dry. The soil was very dry, and this is the black cotton type of soil that when it is dry it even starts breaking. So the reason why we put these nets, just to provide some shade to the plants so that they are not severely affected by the strong sunlight. And they have been very helpful, because even during the dry season that I'm telling you, when the temperatures were going up to about 30 degrees Celsius, the crops or the vegetables were still able to survive. The vegetables were still able to survive. So you can tell me, if you do this in your place, how will you get yourself in the market buying vegetables? Yes, so if we are talking about the real food security, doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need a greenhouse, because greenhouses are very expensive. You just need to get the locally available materials in your place, and you will be good to go. So up to that point, I think, see you in the next video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so.